Hi everyone, it's John from What Up, and welcome back to another video. Now, we've had a ton of leaks over the last couple of days surrounding Episode 7 and 8 of Sony and Amazon's Wheel of Time show. Now, Episode 7 doesn't drop until this Friday at midnight, so that's a couple of days away, so we're going to talk about the leaks in tonight's video, and there's a few different rounds of them. We're going to go through each and every one of them. Now, if you're new to the channel and you don't know what I do here, I cover Wheel of Time show news, so that is everything and anything to do with the Sony and Amazon production. That does include leaks, rumors, set videos, pictures, castings, and I do a number of videos for each episode that drops on Amazon Prime as well. So if you like Wheel of Time content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, make sure you have the notification bell on. I'm putting out at least a video every single day. Now, before we actually get into the video, spoiler warning, in this video we're going to talk about elements of Episode 7 and 8 of Sony and Amazon's Wheel of Time show. So, if you haven't seen at least the first 8 episodes, that's the entire first season of the Wheel of Time, be forewarned, I'm going to ruin certain elements from both of those episodes, and if you haven't read at least the first 3 books, that's The Eye of the World, The Great Hunt, and The Dragon Reborn, well, be forewarned, I'm going to ruin elements from all of that as well. So, without further ado, let's get on to the video. Alright, so we're going to talk about a bunch of leaks that have happened over the last couple of days surrounding Episodes 7 and 8 of Sony and Amazon's show. Now, the last 25 or 26 months I've had the channel up and we've been talking about the Wheel of Time. These 2 episodes in particular have been kept under lock and key. There's been very little that we've known about it publicly, and even less for leaks. I'm going to be honest with you, not much has come out. We had all of those pictures of Rand at Faldera, which we very luckily got from a photographer that happened to stumble upon the site, maybe a year ago now. And we've had a couple of castings and such, but the actual plot and things that are going on have been kept very secret. And I think it's because a lot of their budget's probably thrown into the last couple episodes, and we're going to talk about that because from the leaks we're going to talk about today, I truly believe they've done that. Now, I want to preface the entire video by saying I can't show the leaks. I just can't. The video will probably be flagged and taken down because they are out in other places right now, and they're being taken down slowly here and there, but they're all over the place still. So they're still up on Reddit, they're making their rounds through Twitter, and they are on the Facebook groups and in a lot of the Discords. So, I've left a link down below in the description box to What TV Leaks. Now, that is a subreddit that deals in leaks, and a lot of these leaks were posted there, and as of the date of this recording, they are still live. Doesn't mean they will be forever. However, we're going to talk about this stuff, and at the very least, I'll get to describe some of the stuff to you, and then I'll get your thoughts and feedback down below in the comments. So, the first things we're going to talk about are not really leaks per se. They come from the British Board of Film Classification, so it talks about the ratings for Episode 7 and 8, and they do give away some things. So, the description they gave of Episode 7 was this: scenes of violence, including stabbing and slashing with swords and spears, resulting in heavy blood spurts and bloody injuries. A heavily pregnant woman is stabbed, but the baby is unharmed. Now, that can only mean the blood snow. So we know we're getting blood snow in Episode 7. And for those of you unfamiliar with the series, if you haven't read the books and you don't know how far we're going into this, the blood snow is basically near the end of the Aiel War, when the Aiel were assaulting Tarvalon itself. So they were outside the Shining Walls, they were fighting in the snow, and there was a bunch of different people there, including Tamil Thor, Rand's father. Now, we did give spoilers for the first 3 books, so I can talk about some of this stuff freely, but essentially what happens there is there's a big fight, and Rand's actual mother is there, and she's a Maiden of the Spear. Now, she is injured and dies of her injuries, but gives birth to Rand on the side of Dragonmount, and then Tamil Thor finds him and brings him home, because his wife always wanted a baby. Now, Tam happened to be part of the Illinar Companions, so he was there fighting as well. We're going to see this. Now, we already kind of sort of knew this because we've seen it in trailers and we've seen it in other little teaser material. However, we didn't know if we'd see a pregnant woman carrying Rand die, and it says the baby's unharmed, so he's obviously born. So we do get to see Rand's birth, which is kind of exciting. So that's the first little spoiler tidbit about Episode 7. Now, from the same place, so the British Board of Film Classification, they classified Episode 8 and they gave us these spoilers. There's strong violence when a woman is stabbed through her mouth. In another scene, 2 women are beheaded in a scene that includes a brief sight of gory detail, and there's also the sight of a rotting corpse. There are scenes of moderate fantasy violence and some bloody injury detail. So this is kind of interesting, because we're talking about Episode 8, and the episode 8 is titled The Eye of the World. So we assume they're going to the Eye of the World, and they're going to it's going to be a big culmination of the first season. We're probably going to see the battle at Tarwins Gap, In fact, I know we will, because we're going to talk about that in a second, because those are some other leaks. We're going to see Rand hopefully drawing the one power from the Eye of the World. We're going to see a few other different things like that. But we're talking about women being beheaded here specifically. Now, I don't know exactly what that means, but my guess is, and this is just a guess, that we may see some dream sequences or flashbacks, or perhaps some sort of in the same vein of the Dark One, giving the boys and Egwene and them dreams throughout the entire season. I think we're going to see a Shamael doing some things like that, and I'm going to guess that these two people might be Egwene and Nynaeve, or even Moiraine. It's possible, because he's probably going to be taunting Rand at this point, trying to get him to use to use the one power. That's my guess anyway. So that's the first little bit of tidbits we're going to talk about for episode 7 and 8. Let me know what you folks think down below in the comments. Am I completely off base here? Do you think it might just be a battle scene they're talking about, because we're probably getting Tarwin's Gap in episode 8? Are you excited for Rand's birth? Let me know your thoughts on what the British Board of Film Classification said about these two episodes. Alright, so now we're going to talk about some character stills, and these are absolutely stunning in some respects, and they give us a lot of information. At least one of them does anyway. It's kind of interesting. I'm going to talk about it here in a second. But the first one is of Lord Elgmar. Now, he's in a multi-layered robe, very colorful, very intricate, and has a bunch of feathers down the front of it. Now, Thomas Chihing plays Lord Elgmar, and absolutely stunning, and he is the Lord of Faldara, so it does make sense that he's super dressed up. And it is a dress robe. It's not exactly what we're going to see him do battle in, of course. And in the trailer, we've seen a couple different shots of him. The first one was him far away in front of a window. I think that's the same robe he's wearing here, but we couldn't see details of it there. And the second shot was of him up close with a crossbow in full armor. Really intricate detail. The next one is Lady Amelisa, played by Sandra Sennydriver. Now, the dress she's wearing is, I would say, kind of a match for the Amaryllis Seeds dress, except it's not shimmery, it's in plain white. Beautiful, intricate, very nicely done. Really liked it. I don't know what else to say, but they're really going all out, especially with these costumes that I'm seeing from episodes 7 and 8. I think we're going to be in for a treat visually in these two episodes as far as what people are wearing. The third still is of Kay Alexander. She plays Min. Now, Min is 100% still in an inn. Now, the background is kind of blurred out a little bit because the shot is focused on her. However, you can see a table with some food in the background. She has a rag over her shoulder. She's wearing plain leathers and plain clothes, like she's perhaps a server. I'm not entirely sure maybe what her responsibility would be in this inn or this tavern, but she's definitely working. That's what it looks like in this picture. And she looks good. She looks just like Min to me. I think people are going to be just as happy with Kay Alexander's Min as they were with Hammett and Michonne's Loyal, because she looks like she has the look on her face. How I pictured Min would have that look. It's hard to describe the look in her face, but I think that when we see her, you're going to go, that's my Min, and you're going to be super excited. The other thing I want to mention about her is she has a bunch of tattoos on one of her arms. They're like bands of tattoos around her arm. I have no idea what the significance of them are. Now, a lot of characters so far on the show have showcased very visible tattoos, like the Amyrlin, a bunch of the Aes Sedai in the Tower. They've all had visible tattoos. Now, I myself, and if you can see them here, I'm completely tatted up. So is my wife. My wife has way more than I do. I love tattoos. We go every couple months. So I think it's very interesting to see tattoos in a fantasy show because, I mean, a lot of these characters have really beautiful tattoos. And as rudimentary as they are, they're intricate, they're detailed, and they probably reflect exactly what kind of technology they have for tattooing there, which, in that time frame, which makes me super excited because that's pretty authentic to me. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. I love tattoos. So, the next thing I want to talk about, and this is probably the most exciting picture we've seen, is of Alexander Karim's Lews Therin. Now, we all knew, since I released the casting in the summer, that he was going to play Lews Therin, and we knew for the last month or so that he was going to show up in episodes 7 and 8 alongside of Latris. We were probably going to get scenes from the Age of Legends. We just didn't know exactly how it was going to play out or what it was going to look like. This shot of Lews Therin is in costume. Now, he looks a little bit younger than he does in his photos. There's no silver in his hair. He's touched up a bit. He's no beard. He's clean-shaven. And he's wearing what I can only describe as the uniform from Battlestar Galactica. He looks like he would stand right next to Edward Olmos on the bridge of Battlestar, of the Battlestar. Like 100%. He's on Galactica right now, fighting the Cylons. So I got a super sci-fi feel from his uniform. You could tell it was military. ish, very severe cuts, a little bit of gold, but mostly solid colors. Absolutely stunning uniform, but again, very sci-fi, not out of place in, say, I wouldn't say Star Trek or Star Wars, not really, but definitely Battlestar Galactica, the uniforms they wear. If he was wearing that same uniform side by side with them, he would look like he would fit in. All right, so let me know in the comments down below what you folks think of that. I want to know what you folks think of Lews Therin wearing a Battlestar Galactica uniform. I'm pretty excited about it because I can't wait to see parts of the Age of Legends. We're only going to see a little bit, obviously, because we know that some of the scenes are going to focus there, not much. But Age of Legends Productions, run by Red Eagle Entertainment, is doing a trilogy of movies set at the end of the Age of Legends during the breaking and the founding of the White Tower, and that's penned by Zach Stentz, who is an amazing screenwriter who wrote a little Marvel movie called Thor. I don't know if you've heard of it. That should come out, I hope, soon-ish. They're writing the scripts right now, and they're shopping around trying to find studios and stuff, so they're in very, very early stages of getting things made. We heard about that, I would say 6 or 7 months ago now, but I'm super excited about it. I'm keeping on top of it, and as soon as I have more news about that, I obviously will do videos, because I can't wait to see the Wheel of Time on the big screen. I didn't get to go to any of the premieres, so I didn't get to see anything in the theater, but if there's movies, at least I'll go to a theater to see it. All right, now we're getting into the meat and potatoes of the actual video, the GIFs. So I'm going to describe each of the GIFs first, and then I'll talk a bit about each one, what I think is happening here. So the first GIF shows Egwene hugging a man in the center of a cleared out desert. So this appears to be outside of Tarwin's Gap, because there's two mountains in the background and the sun is rising between them. It kind of looks like the images we've seen in Tarwin's Gap behind Faldara, because they're really close. There's bodies strewn all over the place, whether they're Trolloc or human, it's hard to tell because they're in the background. And the GIF basically just shows her hugging this person. Now, I don't know who this person is because it doesn't show their face. However, their hairstyle and their clothing sort of indicates to me that maybe it's Perrin. I don't know for sure, although her and Perrin have been very close the entire season, and we have heard from the showrunner and a few other people that Perrin did hold a flame for her, and that was causing problems in his marriage, which is part of the reason why Lila was unhappy. So, entirely possible it's Perrin. Next GIF is the one I talked about in a video I released a few days ago where I leaked the Ishamael actor. So Ishamael is in the foreground with Rand. Now in the background you have a village with houses with wood shingles in the roofs, and you have Egwene. Now the village, the background, and Egwene are all frozen in time. They're not moving whatsoever. The only part of this GIF that's moving is the foreground. So Ishamael is moving, Rand is moving, and big ropes of power that are coming off screen surrounding Rand and going in front of him over a cradle. Now I said it was a bucket in my last video. I was corrected. It was a cradle, and I'm looking at it now. Yeah, that's a cradle. I apologize for those of you watching. And Rand doesn't look very happy. So my guess, and this is just a guess, and this goes back to the first thing from the British Board of Film Classification, when they talked about what's happening in episode 8, where some women get beheaded, another woman gets a knife through her throat, through her mouth rather. I think that Ishamael is going to show Rand a number of different visions, sort of like what happened in the books. And these visions are going to encapsulate his friends and family, and we're going to see bad things happen to them. So that's why I guess maybe it was Nynaeve and Elaine getting, or not Elaine, Nynaeve and Egwene getting beheaded, maybe Moiraine, because I think based on this particular little GIF here, that's probably what's going to happen, because the background's completely frozen and it's just Rand and Ishamael moving. Now, the other thing I want to mention is the power that's surrounding Rand going over the cradle is completely clean. So it looks like he's drawing it from the Eye of the World, or perhaps it's Ishamael putting it from off screen around Rand into the cradle. I don't know. But either way, that power is clean, and only the men in the foreground are channeling, one of the two of them. Next GIF we'll talk about, this one caused a little bit of controversy on some of the Reddits and things like that. It shows first Egwene. Basically, it kind of looks like she's drawing a ton of power through her. It doesn't look like she's using it, but it's like drawing it through her. Then it shows Nynaeve doing the same thing, drawing a ton of power through her. Then you see big strands of lightning, an explosion or two, and you see Trollocs and men just flying everywhere. So what people have been saying about it is they believe that Egwene and Nynaeve are going to be using the power to fight during Tarwin's Gap, and it's going to take away from Rand. That's a lot of speculation I've seen online about that. I've seen the GIF and watched it here again now, and I don't think that's the case. It looks like neither one of them have any control over what's happening. And this goes right along with another GIF that we're going to talk about in a bit. I believe they're in a circle with Rand. So I believe you're going to see Moiraine, Nynaeve, and Egwene in a circle with Rand, and Rand's controlling the flows. I think that's what we're going to see here, and I'll talk about that in a second. So the next GIF we have showcases 4 people in the background with another person in the front. Now the person in the front looks a little bit like Lord Elgmar, just a little bit. Has a top knot, has the same sort of sword in the background, so it looks like looks like a small sword. I don't know what it would be called. I don't know much about weapons, honestly. In his back, or her back, it's hard to tell the sex of the person because it's not really a clear shot, but it looks like Lord Elgmar's armor, looks like his top knot, so it might be him. And then the people in the background, definitely 4 women. Now 2 of them, I believe, are Egwene and Nynaeve. They're the ones on the left. The ones on the right, I can't tell who they are. They're a little bit darker. One of them sort of looks like Moiraine, maybe Leandrin. I don't know for sure, but they are 2 other women. And all it does is it showcases this person in the foreground from the back, and it kind of spins around them, showing the women. So I don't know what's going on there, but it looks like this person is facing off against these 4 women, and I don't know who or what they are. So that's the next GIF. So then we have a very touching scene between Lord Elgmar and Lady Amelisa. They both basically, it looks like before he's going to Tarwin's Gap. They're talking a bit, and they both look very sad and resigned to it. It's very, very emotional. Really nice scene. I can't wait to see the 2 of them on screen together. I think it's going to be super cool. All right, so then we have a GIF with Shamael on the right side. On the left side, we have Moiraine, and in between them is Rand. Now, on the ground between them, this GIF is from above, is the ancient symbol of the Aes Sedai. So it's like the yin-yang, or the yin-yang, sorry. So the way it looks here is it looks like a Shamael's using the power, and it's going inside of Moiraine. And she has her head thrown back, and it looks like she's being hurt by it. I don't know what's happening here. I think he's using the power in some way, shape, or form. And Rand appears to be either fainted or knocked out at her feet, one of the 2 of them. So I think this is during the battle with the Shamael at the eye, and maybe after all of the power has been used out of the eye, and you're seeing the big ancient symbol of the Aes Sedai on the ground underneath. I don't know exactly, but really cool. At the very least, Moiraine's going to be helping Rand fight the Shamael in this, which is neat. Then we have another GIF. It looks like a really overgrown, moldy, dark, damp, vine-covered room that's hard to make anything out of, and 2 people are walking into it. The 2 people walking into it appear to be Rand, I think, and maybe Moiraine. I'm not entirely sure, but I think that's what it is, and I believe this shot is probably just before the last GIF we talked about with the Shamael attacking Moiraine, because the background sort of appears to be the same. All right, now the last GIF I want to talk about, and this one I have to watch a couple of times here as we talk, it showcases someone in the center of the screen with 2 people on their left, on their right, and 1 person on their left, and then another person on their knees on their left. It shows giant strands, like really big, huge strands of power going down over the person in the center, connecting to all the people around that person, at least the initial first 3 people that are standing up, blasting out from them and blowing back a bunch of Trollocs and soldiers and other people in the front. Now, when I said earlier that I think that Nynaeve and Egwene are going to be in a circle with Rand, this is why I think that. I think that person in the middle is Rand. I've watched it a bunch of times. I've zoomed in. I've gotten as close as I can to it, and it's pretty grainy and not great when you're zooming in like that, but it looks like Rand. The people around him, I believe, are wearing the same costumes that Nynaeve and Egwene are wearing in the other GIFs, and I think one of them is wearing Moiraine's costume. I believe. It's hard to tell. But they're on the outside of him, and they are definitely not focusing the power. All the power flows through them into him from above. So you have a big strand of power coming down in the middle, hitting what appears to be Rand, and then coming out from all of them and hitting a bunch of Trollocs and soldiers in front. So I think we're going to see in the Battle of Tarwin's Gap, we're going to see Rand there fighting Trollocs, fighting soldiers, just like he did in the books. But I think you're going to see him in a circle with the women channelers. That's what I believe anyway. All right, so that's all the GIFs anyway. So let me know what you folks think down below in the comments. Sorry I couldn't show them. I hope I did an okay job of describing them, telling what I think is happening there. But I want to hear what you folks think of what's going to happen in episode 7 and 8. Outline your basic plot. I mean, we have until Friday before the episode drops. You have a lot of time to leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think of the GIFs. And just in general, let me know how you think we're doing here on the channel. If there's anything that you would like to see, anything you want us to do here, let us know. I'm having a good time with this, and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon, because as long as I'm having fun and you guys are enjoying this, I'm going to keep making videos. So, all right, thank you so very much for sticking with me here to the very end. Here's to many more.